What's going on, friends? Welcome back into Movement Parallels Life. My name is Kellen Mylad, and today is part 2 in our series on flow. We're focused on bringing more flow and fluidity to our movement practice. And this is a way to balance out your strength training, fill in some of the gaps left behind by traditional fitness. This is a way to help alleviate excess tension in your body and make your movement more well integrated. So ultimately, no matter what ways you love to move, whatever activities you're into, this is going to support better performance and an ability to move with ease and gracefulness. Plus, this is just a lot of fun. It's an alternative to super structured programs where we're counting sets and reps. And in the flow practice, we're going more by feel and encouraging you to listen to your body. So I often compare this to like learning a language. It's going to be awkward at first, but the more you practice, the more you get the basics, the more this starts to be fun and a way to explore your movement. And really, that's what this series is all about. And today's exploration is focused on squatting movements. So you know the position, you know the exercises. Today we're going to expand beyond those boundaries and explore the squat in all planes of motion, 360 degrees. And when I say this is an exploration, that means it's an opportunity to move like you. You don't have to move exactly like me, but I'm going to share with you some ways that I like to play and flow with squat movements. And you're going to take what feels good for you. You're going to take what's useful for you and focus on that and leave the rest. There's so many different ways to move. It can be overwhelming. But if you focus on meeting your body where you're at, focus on what you can do and refining it, making it as smooth as possible, your practice is going to grow organically from there. Before we get started, just a quick reminder, if you're into this style of movement training, you're going to want to check out my free 10-day course, Ground Movement 101. It's going to be the perfect way to build a strong foundation in these ground-based movement patterns to support mobility and longevity. These practices are amazing for your body, and when you're consistent, they help alleviate those chronic aches and pains and assist in injury prevention. So again, it doesn't matter what kind of physical activities you're into. If you have a 9-to-5 desk job or you're an elite athlete, ground-based movement can help you take care of your body better. All right, I think we're good. We're ready to jump in. We're going to do a short warm up. I'm going to walk you through some easy movements. And if at any point you feel like you want to stop and take more time, take longer to warm up, I want to encourage you to press pause on the video. Give yourself that time because the more prepped you are, the better your practice is going to be. All right, let's begin. We're going to start off on hands and knees. And we're going to begin with some easy spinal movements. Flexing and extending, and you might add in some shifting forward and backward as well, creating a wave through your spine. Another option, center yourself, place one hand behind your head, tuck, and rotate open. Open, press the floor away, actively using the strength of the back to open into the twist. Check in on the other side. All right, next, hands and wrists. So pressing your knuckles down and lifting your palms a few times. I'll just give you a few options here. Next, flip the hands over. Rock from side to side. So you're using the ground to apply tolerable pressure to your wrists. Make sure that you can breathe, relax, and sway easily from side to side. Now we'll do one more. Sit back, place your palms down, fingers pointing towards you, sit back. It's just a little rocking action. Mobilizing the wrists, opening the forearms. Sit back, place your fingertips out ahead of your knees and have your toes tucked. I'm just going to rock back and forth a few times, drawing back through the hips and shifting forward till the knees kiss the floor. You're starting to walk your hands forward a little bit farther. Then bring your knees down, come up to a tall kneeling position. Your pelvis level, twist, and reach back. One more each side. Sit back, fingertips down again. We're going to transition to this toe squat, deep knee bend position. Just a little rocking back and forth. Lift and lower your heels. Maybe try a little bounce. Elevate your hips. Sink back down. Lower down to your knees and reverse. Back to the knee bend. Elevate. Movements, swaying, bouncing, twisting, all gently encouraging length in your body. One more time. Toe squat. Elevate your hips. And lower back down. Okay. So again, that's a really quick warm-up. I want to encourage you to always spend as much time as you need giving your body lighter movements, checking in, feeling how everything is feeling for the day so you can make good decisions with the rest of your practice. All right, so now we're going to start getting into some of these patterns. As long as everything is feeling good in your squat or in your toe squat, we're going to start here. And this first idea that we're going to work with is coming to a single arm support and then back to the squat and then over to the other side, planting one hand, keeping the arm locked out, vertically aligned, and using it for support, and then a push back to center. So essentially we are falling to the side, smoothly catching ourselves, finding balance. And you might start pivoting a little bit on your feet. Really, it will depend on the surface that you're working on. But I want you to make this soft and smooth as you fall, catch, return to center for a moment. You're going to drift through center balance, looking to make the placement of the hand as soft as possible. There's no impact, but you're planting a soft arm, shifting and locking out. Just do a few more. Pause and relax. So that's the first concept to work with. And really all of these movements that we're going to explore, they're options for you while moving and supporting fluid movement in the squat position. So that's one piece, being able to work with your momentum, fall and catch yourself. That's the idea, lots of ways to express it. Let's move on. Next, we're going to go from our toe squat position into a hip roll. Planting a hand, sitting to my hips and rolling across. The weight shift, and then easing my way down to my glutes, rolling across. And as we exit the roll, we're trying to preserve our momentum and to return to the squat position. And use that planted hand to push to give you some momentum through the roll. And as you recover, as you exit out of the roll, a lot of hand contact, pushing yourself back into the squat. And you get a couple more. Last one. And we're back to center. Rest for a moment. We'll regroup, go on to the next pattern. So next we'll look at just taking steps and walking around the space. We're essentially using that first pattern of falling and the hand placement and now adding a step. So just starting to explore your space here. Stepping forward, shifting back, stepping sideways. Here, what you want to do is start linking together your steps. And you'll use a lot of leaning to the hand and foot to take your next step. So pretty simple, but it's more about finding this rhythm and how to use the hands so you can keep changing your position, changing your orientation as you move around a small space. Using a lot of side to side, leaning and pushing. So you're carrying a lot of your body weight in your arms. Next, we'll look at a transition from a split squat. So we'll take this position again, our crouch position or split position. And we're going to transition to sitting. So my left leg is back. I'm going to post my left arm. Opposite hand-foot support so I can kick my left leg forward to sit. Lift, draw the leg back underneath the body, back into position for the squat. So while we go to the seated position, we can switch the legs. Go from side to side, kick through, sit, switch, lift, step under and return to squat. Start to bring this pattern into all planes. Start by doing it straight forward. And then seeing how you can expand. Just by adding a little bit more complexity, a little bit more versatility and adaptability to the movement. Okay, last pattern we'll play with today. I just call it creeping because I think that really just captures the vibe. From this position, we're going to be planting the hands, leaning into the arms, which are locked out, and pressing into the floor so the feet can slide sideways. And we want to be very relaxed when we do this, hence the name creeping. I want you to be soft. I want you to be stealthy. So plant, lean and push. Stand low to the floor and really just transferring your crawl position out to the side. This is even a good opportunity when you're ready for it to start adding some elevation or some inversion. All right, so that's going to bring us to our last phase of the practice today. We'll take some time to integrate, progressive integration. So it's not that you have to do all the patterns in a specific order and it has to look the same way every time you go through it. We'll ease up on some of that choreography, some of those rules, and again, encourage you to take what kind of came up as we went through these past drills, take what stuck with your body and start to play around with it a little bit more. Let yourself fall into flow by letting your body take the lead and express the patterns organically. So you can play around with this, or you can use my cues as a prompt to start playing around and finding the link between some of these movements. We won't go super fast, but I'll call out some of the variations and you can reference the screen to see where we're at and you can base your play on that. Okay, so we're starting out. Squat position on the balls of the feet. And if your mobility is there, maybe you can rock back, heels towards the floor. And just adding a little shifting movement here. Soft circles. And as you start to shift a little bit more, shift and plant a hand and push back. And use that push to drift from hand to hand, passing through your squat. Going back and forth between single arm support and a nice relaxed squat. And from there, with your leaning, maybe that allows you to pick up one foot and step. As you plant, maybe you can twist or step across. Sweeping your feet in circles. You can stay there or add in a layer with the hip roll. Planting both hands. A moment of hands and knees before you roll across your hips. Plant, lower, and roll. Use your momentum to come out of the roll. Transition back to your squat and take a few steps. Incorporate sitting. Sit through. A little spin, a little switch. Maybe a little rock up. We're going to see that further down the line. So as we're just staying in motion here, we're getting a lot of time spent in the squat. And we're exploring a lot of different expressions, a lot of different angles to load the body different ways. We're working on developing new neural pathways. All of this helping us better map our body and give us more options in our movements. And those options don't get confined to exercise. But you can think about where squatting movements will serve you in your life, whether it's in terms of household work or sports you play or whatever activity you love, or is just part of your daily routine. Lastly, we'll add in our creeping and sweeping. Keep moving for just a few more seconds today. Start to slow down and relax. Take a moment to float through these ground sitting positions and listen to your body. So that's it for today's practice, but the movement doesn't stop. I want to encourage you to keep moving throughout your day, whether it's a workout or just low-key lifestyle-based movement. Movement is the key. So before you go, if you enjoyed today's practice, I'd appreciate it if you could hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and share it with a friend who loves to move. I'll be back with part 3 before too long. In the meantime, take good care of yourself. Keep on moving, drink your water, get your rest, and I'll see you in the next practice.